Who are the sharks? They're politicians that have risen to the highest office in the nation. Theodore Roosevelt is the youngest man to ever rise to the presidency and earn a distinguished reputation as a trust buster and war hero in Cuba. William Howard Taft successfully governed over the Philippines after the Spanish-American War, and, well, that's pretty much everything worth mentioning about him. Woodrow Wilson is former president of prestigious Princeton University and mastermind of his new freedom. For our first contestant, welcome writer Upton Sinclair and his vision for the meatpacking industry. We all love our meat, right, sharks? But take a closer look, and you might not like what you see. As detailed in my book, The Jungle, the Chicago meatpacking industry is a cesspool of disgusting practices. Rats, I repeat, rats end up in your meat. You, President Taft, do you know what ends up in your sausage? Sawdust, dirt, rat feces. The conditions at these factories are deplorable. The solution is simple. I suggest for an act for meat inspection that will set quality standards, especially in Chicago. Take a copy of The Jungle.
Considering how much I like meat, this is rather concerning. However, I do not think the government has the authority to regulate a private business in the manner that you propose.
I understand your concerns, but consider your predecessor's achievements in this area. Mr. Roosevelt, you've already had enormous progress with the passage of the Pure Food and Drug Act. This is only an extension of that good work.
I must say, Sinclair, you make a strong argument. And Taft, good sir, why shouldn't the government take a more active role in affairs of this manner? It is our responsibility.
Wrong. Consider the Constitution, Mr. Roosevelt.
Nonsense. Mr. Sinclair, I will support your act.
Next up, a tried and true approach to funding the federal government.
Sharks, today I'd like to present to you a tariff bill. This traditional and reliable way of raising funds for the federal government.
Whoa! Stop right there. How can you advocate for a tariff bill after the passing of the 16th Amendment?
Well, I was thinking...
Stop thinking. You're wrong. Start living in the present. The future is with an income tax funding our government. I can't support this backwards proposal.
President Taft, Mr. Roosevelt,
Sorry, I'm out.
I'm out too.
thank you for your time.
God, the next one's better be better than that.
How could he even think of that? Horrible.
Why did we even let him in?
It's awful.
Next up, Philander C. Knox, infamous prosecutor of trust. Today, Sharks, I present the Clayton Antitrust Act. The small businesses of America will no longer be oppressed. I and Mr. Roosevelt have already taken steps against these trusts. I personally broke up the Northern Securities Trust. This act will do even more to stop big businesses taking advantage of the people by blocking prices and interlocking directors. Now, Sharks, who's ready to do some trust busting?
I see, but Mr. Knox, do you intend on building upon the Sherman Antitrust Act?
In a way, yes, Mr. President. But this act will be more powerful and will be backed by the Federal Trade Commission.
This is too much power for one government, Mr. Knox.
Genius! This will even the playing field for small businesses. I accept the act. I gotta steal with that one.
It's not in the Constitution.
The next contestant, Nelson Aldrich, aims to shake things up a bit in finance.
Sharks, the United States of America is where we are today because of our amazingly strong economy. We grew from colonies dependent on Great Britain into an industrial world power. However, our nation's history has been marred by numerous financial crises. In 1873 and 1893, American prosperity has been decimated by overspeculation. But sharks, Today, I present to you a future where these panics and recessions are a thing of the past. Behold, the Federal Reserve Act. This bold plan was conceived by myself along with the best and brightest in finance at Jekyll Island. A system of 12 reserve banks governed by a board of directors will regulate the nation's credit by setting interest rates. Under this institution, the unstable trend of boom and bust cycles will be eradicated. Now, sharks, who's going to support me in overhauling the American economy?
Now, Mr. Aldrich, this proposal sounds suspiciously like a national bank. How will this pass through Congress?
Well, President Taft, the way I see it, this isn't so much as a bank as a fresh start to the economy. And I believe with President Strong's support, we'll easily pass this act through Congress.
I agree. Mr. Aldrich, your plan seems to be the perfect solution to regulate our economy. I will back your act.
Nice.
Next week on Shark Tank, Season 1, The Progressive Era. But President Wilson, you can't just ignore the hunger blockade. Great Britain needs to be held accountable.
The Germans have committed atrocities against the Belgian people. We cannot let these crimes go unpunished.
Titania must sail. Just ignore those gross German warnings.